This is the video lesson for 2.04, Prompt and Human Rights. And there are 7 pages in this module, so I am going to speak quickly. But before I start, I do want to pause for a minute just to point out that there is a little bit of a discrepancy in this with the reading between this module and the next one. In this module, it says that you need to finish, but then it doesn't actually show you finishing it. So we're going to kind of adjust to that a little bit. So make sure you listen to this whole lesson and then also the next whole video lesson so that you will have the complete instructions and you won't be confused. Okay, so the objectives, first of all, it says you're going to analyze real-world problems that are relevant to literature, you're going to analyze a prompt, and you're going to complete reading a novel, which you're going to almost complete reading a novel for this one. You're going to complete it in the next module, actually, or right before it. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is read this, and then you're going to do this little activity. You'll click Begin, and then over here it has a legal problem, and on this side it has which amendment would it go with, and you need to match those. So you'll click on the problem over here, and then click on the amendment that you think goes with it on that side, and it will show you if you're right or wrong. Once you've completed that, you'll go to page 2. Okay, on page 2, I want to spend a little bit of time talking about the different kind of conflicts that you go over, just because I'd like to give you an example. I think it will help you to understand it better. So make sure you read through this. And your conflict in your book, of course, has to do with human rights, but I'm just going to talk in general. You've probably heard these before, but I just want to quickly remind you. So the first one is character versus character, and this is the most common kind of conflict. It's where it's between 2 characters, or at least 2 characters. And so this is really common. This is like, you know, Luke Skywalker versus Darth Vader, or you know, anything like that. Snow White versus the Wicked Witch, any of that kind of stuff. The next one is character versus nature, and this is where it's the character versus some kind of natural force, wind, rain, storms, animals, etc. Good examples of this would be the movie Castaway. If you've ever read the book The Island of the Blue Dolphins, or The Cay, all of those are character versus nature. The next one is character versus society, and this is where your main character does not fit in with their society and is kind of criticized or scrutinized or tormented by the society in which they are forced to live. So this would be like The Outsiders or Veronica Mars. Finally, it's character versus self, and this is the kind of conflict that is taking place within the person. It's their own psychological struggle. The best example, of course, is Gollum from Lord of the Rings. He is a character versus self. That's his conflict. But it doesn't have to be that much of a split personality thing. It also is ones where a character has a major decision to make, like what college to go to, or if they're trying to choose to go good or evil, you know, that kind of a thing. So it's all within themselves. So read this whole page, including these final 2 questions, think about how it relates to your book, and then go on to the next page. Here on page 3, you're going to need to read through all of this, and you're going to need to click here where it says the Constitution Explained. It's going to open up this website here, the Constitution Explained, and you're going to read through this article. I do want to take a minute here to point out that where it's blue, it's similar to in our lessons where you can click on it and it's going to give you some more definition, but you only need to actually read the article. You don't need to read every single additional thing. After you're done with that, you'll go to page 4. Here is where the discrepancy starts to take place. So first of all, read through all this. It has, once again, your graphic organizer down here. It tells you which chapter that you need to be through, which is not the final chapter for any of them. Like Hiroshima of Mice and Men and Enrique's Journey, they have, actually Mice and Men has 6, and these other 2 have 5. So just read through this part, fill out the graphic organizer for this part, and then you'll do the final part and turn in the completed graphic organizer in the next module. So just don't get too confused about that. And if you have a question, let me know. The thing to do is to just follow this guide, the guide we've been following all along. You don't have to be done with it yet. Okay, page 5 goes through conflict, and it talks about the different conflicts in your story here, this different kind of civil or human rights conflicts. So make sure you look at each of that. I'm going to talk about pages 6 and 7 in the next video.